Let me tell you something most people don't realize until it's too late. Death doesn't always begin in the heart, or the brain, or even the lungs. For many people, it begins quietly in the legs. When you start feeling that heaviness, that slow burn when you climb the stairs, that stiffness when you rise from a chair, it's not just age. It's your body whispering that the blood flow, the lifeline of your vitality, is slowing down. And if you're 60, 70, or 80 years old, you cannot afford to ignore that whisper. Because circulation is the current of life itself. When blood moves, life moves. When it slows, everything downstream begins to fade. Your legs are the farthest point from your heart, and that means they are the first to show the signs of decline. Poor circulation, weak vessels, inflamed tissues, and loss of muscle. But here's what's extraordinary: you can turn that around with what you put on your plate. Food is not just fuel. It's information for your cells. It tells your body whether to heal or to decay, to fight or to give up. If you eat the right foods, the ones that speak the language of life, your body listens. And it starts repairing. The blood vessels open up, the stem cells wake up, and your circulation starts to hum again. You'll feel it in your legs first, the same way you felt the decline, but this time it's strength returning. That's how you know life is flowing back in. You don't need expensive pills or exotic cures. You need foods that ignite the fire within your arteries and wake up your healing system. Start with the foods that protect your endothelium, the delicate lining inside your blood vessels. Berries, rich in anthocyanins, protect those inner walls like armor. Olive oil, with its powerful polyphenols, keeps them flexible and young. Leafy greens like spinach and arugula release natural nitric oxide, a gas that tells your blood vessels to relax, to open up, to flow freely. And when you drink green tea, you're not just sipping a beverage. You're flooding your body with catechins that defend your arteries from aging itself. And don't overlook the simple, humble tomato. Inside it lives lycopene, one of nature's strongest defenders against oxidative stress, which stiffens blood vessels over time, or dark chocolate, the real kind, rich and unprocessed. It helps blood vessels dilate, bringing life to every corner of your body. Garlic, too, has been used for centuries not just to flavor food, but to purify the blood and reduce inflammation. Each of these foods, one by one, sends a signal to your body: stay alive, stay young, stay flowing. What happens when you start eating this way is profound. Within weeks, your legs start feeling lighter, the pain eases, you walk farther, the fatigue lifts. Your muscles stop wasting away because they're finally receiving what they were always meant to: oxygen, nutrients, and blood flow. That's not coincidence, that's biology. Your body was designed to heal, but it needs the right tools. And it doesn't matter if you're 60, 70, or 80. The human body doesn't forget how to heal. It's waiting for the moment you stop poisoning it with what dulls its spark and start feeding it with what restores its power. Every bite you take can either slow your decline or reverse it. You are never too old to start, and your legs are never too far gone to recover. And when you give your body what it needs: colorful fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes, herbs, and teas, you are not just eating, you are instructing your body to rebuild itself. The new blood vessels that grow are not random. They form exactly where you need them to bring life back to tissues that were starving. Your body responds with gratitude in the only way it knows how: by restoring energy, movement, and strength. Death may try to creep in through your legs, but life can fight back through your fork. Your kitchen can be your most powerful pharmacy. Every meal is a chance to send a different message, one that says, "I am not done yet." The science is clear: circulation is not fixed, it's flexible. Aging is not decay, it's an invitation to rebuild. You just need to feed the body what it's asking for. So when you wake up tomorrow and take that first step out of bed, pay attention to what your legs are telling you. If they feel weak, numb, or cold, that's not just age, that's a call for renewal. And the answer isn't hidden in some secret pill or expensive treatment. It's sitting right in your kitchen. Eat the foods that bring your blood to life, the ones that nourish your vessels, fight inflammation, and awaken your healing. Because the moment you do, you'll feel it. The warmth will return, the energy will rise, the light in your legs, and your life will turn back on. What happens in the body as we age is both subtle and powerful. The systems that once worked in perfect harmony begin to slow down, not because they want to, but because the signals that kept them alive start to fade. The blood vessels, those intricate highways of life, lose their elasticity. The muscles, once strong and full of vitality, begin to shrink. The nerves, so finely tuned, start to lose their sensitivity. But here's the secret that very few people understand. This process isn't just about aging. It's about what we feed the system that keeps us alive. And that system begins with circulation. Think of your body like a great city. The heart is the power plant, the center that pumps out the energy. The blood vessels are the roads and bridges carrying that energy to every home, every organ, every cell. Your legs are at the far end of the map, at the outer edge of that city. If those bridges and roads begin to crack or clog, the traffic slows. The lights dim. The neighborhoods grow quiet. And eventually, they die. That's what happens when your circulation weakens. Death doesn't arrive in a moment. It creeps in silently through the smallest cracks in your system, and your legs are often the first to feel it. You may notice swelling or a heaviness that wasn't there before. You may feel cramps at night or tingling when you walk. But these are not small annoyances. They're the body's way of warning you that life is slowing down at the very edge. And yet, that warning is not a death sentence. It's an invitation to restore the current of life through one of the most powerful tools we have, food. There's a reason why cultures that eat colorful plant-rich diets often have elders who walk with energy, who climb stairs in their 70s, who live not just long, but strong. Their secret isn't magic, it's biology fed correctly. When you eat foods that support blood flow, you are essentially restoring your body's internal rivers. Let's talk about how that happens. Inside your arteries and veins lies a thin, delicate layer of cells called the endothelium. This layer is like the skin of your blood vessels, and it determines whether your blood flows freely or struggles to move. When you eat processed foods loaded with sugars, saturated fats, and chemicals, that lining becomes inflamed and stiff. The vessels lose their ability to open up. Blood struggles to get to your legs, and over time, those tissues begin to starve. But when you eat foods that nurture that endothelium, foods filled with antioxidants, polyphenols, and natural plant compounds, the lining repairs itself. The vessels soften, expand, and come alive again. Imagine blueberries bursting with color, filled with anthocyanins that protect your arteries like a shield. When you eat them, those compounds travel into your bloodstream, neutralizing the free radicals that attack your vessel walls. Green tea sends catechins into your body, molecules that relax the arteries and improve blood flow within hours. Garlic, often underestimated, releases allicin, a compound that widens blood vessels and lowers inflammation. These are not just nutrients, they are instructions, chemical signals telling your body, heal, repair, flow again. In Japan, researchers studied older adults who drank green tea daily and found that their blood vessels behaved like those of people decades younger. In Italy, elders who consumed olive oil as a daily staple showed remarkable elasticity in their arteries and lower risk of circulation problems. And in Greece, where tomatoes and herbs are part of almost every meal, people experience lower levels of vascular inflammation even into old age. These are not coincidences. These are the footprints of biology responding to nourishment. But let's bring it back to something more personal. The feeling of vitality returning to your legs. When you begin to feed your body what it truly needs, you'll notice subtle changes. The stiffness when you stand up eases. The cramps in the night quiet down. The walk that used to leave you winded suddenly feels lighter. That's your circulation reawakening. It's your body proving that healing never goes out of style, no matter your age. Now, one of the most remarkable discoveries in recent years is how certain foods can actually trigger your body to grow new blood vessels. A process called angiogenesis. This isn't science fiction, it's the same process that helps wounds heal or muscles recover. When you eat foods like dark chocolate, pomegranate, or blackberries, they signal your stem cells and endothelial cells to create new microvessels. Those new vessels bring oxygen to areas that were once deprived, like your calves, your thighs, even your heart. That's how food brings parts of you back to life that medicine often says are gone. Consider the humble beetroot. Its deep crimson color comes from nitrates that your body converts into nitric oxide, a molecule that relaxes blood vessels, improving blood flow almost instantly. Within hours of drinking beet juice, studies show improved performance, lower blood pressure, and more oxygen reaching the muscles. For someone in their 70s or 80s, that's not just science, that's freedom. The ability to walk further, to garden longer, to play with grandchildren without pain, that's what food can do. And then there's the role of omega-3 fatty acids found in fish like salmon, sardines, and mackerel. These healthy fats don't just reduce inflammation. They literally make your blood smoother, helping it glide through arteries that might otherwise narrow with age. Pair that with fiber-rich foods like oats, beans, and lentils, which lower cholesterol and clean your bloodstream like a natural filter. And you have a circulation system that stays young from the inside out. Every meal you eat is either clogging your system or clearing it. Every choice you make between fried food and fresh food, between sugar and fruit, is a choice between decline and vitality. But here's the most empowering part. The effects are not distant. Within days of changing your diet, your blood starts to move differently. Within weeks, your body chemistry shifts. Within months, your cells regenerate. That's the miracle of biology. It wants to heal, and it does as soon as you stop fighting it. In older age, muscle loss is another signal that death has started creeping in through the legs. When your muscles weaken, your metabolism slows, your bones lose density, and your balance falters. But that loss is not irreversible. Muscle thrives on circulation and nutrition. When your blood flow improves, your muscles receive the amino acids and oxygen they need to rebuild. And when you give your body high-quality proteins from beans, lentils, eggs, and fish, you give those muscles the raw material to grow again. Even walking becomes an act of healing because movement itself boosts circulation, creating a beautiful loop of life. Food feeds blood flow feeds strength, and strength feeds life. But there's also the unseen layer of inflammation that creeps up with age, the silent fire that burns beneath the surface. Chronic inflammation narrows blood vessels, damages tissues, and accelerates aging. Yet nature has already provided us with its extinguishers. Turmeric, with its golden compound curcumin, is a potent anti-inflammatory that calms the blood vessels and restores flexibility. Ginger helps clear toxins and improves microcirculation. A cinnamon helps regulate blood sugar, preventing the sugar spikes that stiffen arteries. These aren't exotic cures. They are ordinary foods with extraordinary powers. When people say, "At my age, it's too late," they are repeating a myth that has been passed down for generations. The truth is, regeneration doesn't care how many birthdays you've had. The human body is built to repair until its very last breath, as long as it's given the chance. Even if you've spent decades eating poorly, it takes only weeks to start reversing the damage. The body's ability to create new blood vessels, reduce inflammation, and strengthen tissues never goes away. It just needs to be reactivated. That's why the simple act of eating differently can feel like turning back time. It's not about restricting yourself or living on lettuce and water. It's about eating with purpose, adding color to your plate, eating whole foods instead of processed ones, using herbs instead of chemicals. When you eat this way, your body responds with gratitude. The fatigue lifts, the fog clears, the coldness in your feet fades, and what you begin to feel deep in your bones is life returning. There is a saying that the legs are the second heart. They pump blood back to your center, keeping the entire system alive. When you lose that power, when the muscles weaken and the vessels harden, your second heart starts to fail. But when you eat the foods that bring back blood flow, your legs start to act like they did decades ago. That is the difference between simply aging and aging vibrantly. Science has shown that people who eat diets rich in plant-based foods have not just lower risk of heart disease, but stronger, healthier circulation even into their 80s and 90s. They walk faster, recover quicker, and experience fewer falls. Their blood is thinner, their vessels more flexible, and their muscles more oxygenated. They've learned to keep the river of life flowing. And so, the message is simple yet profound. Your legs tell the story of your life's flow. If you neglect them, if you starve them of circulation, the story begins to end. But if you feed them, truly feed them, with foods that love you back, the story continues with strength, grace, and vitality. Because death might try to begin in your legs, but life begins there too. Every step you take after nourishing your body becomes proof that renewal is possible, that the body is not a machine that wears out, but a living garden that blooms again and again, as long as you feed it the light it needs. When we talk about aging, most people imagine it as a slow, inevitable decline. The body becoming weaker, the energy fading, the movement shrinking. But that idea is not written in the laws of biology, it's written in the habits we choose. The truth is, your body doesn't simply give up because you reach 60 or 70 or 80. What actually happens is that the systems that once thrived on nourishment begin to starve. The circulation that once moved effortlessly starts to crawl. And before long, that loss of flow begins to show up in the place farthest from the heart. Your legs. Your legs are your body's foundation, but they're also a mirror. They reflect what's happening deep inside you. If your blood flow weakens, your legs will tell you. They'll grow colder, stiffer, heavier. The pain that shows up when you walk a few blocks isn't just old age. It's your body crying out for oxygen, for nutrients, for the spark of life that keeps tissues alive. And if you ignore those signals, that's when death starts creeping in. Not as an event, but as a slow, silent invasion. The legs are often the first to die before the rest of the body follows. But that doesn't have to be your story. Because the same way circulation fades, it can be restored. The same way weakness begins, strength can return. The secret is to feed your body in a way that brings blood back to life. Inside your arteries, veins, and capillaries are billions of tiny cells that respond to what you eat every single day. When you give them processed sugars, excess salt, and artificial fats, those cells go into defense mode. They inflame, they stiffen, and they narrow the very channels that keep you alive. But when you feed them foods that nature designed, foods rich in color, nutrients, and vitality, they open up like flowers in sunlight. They start to repair, to breathe, to flow. And the result isn't just internal, you feel it in your body. Your legs grow lighter, your steps quicker, your strength more stable. Think about the power of something as simple as an apple. It contains polyphenols that protect your blood vessels from oxidative damage. Or pomegranates, a rich in ellagic acid which help your arteries stay open and flexible. These foods don't act like drugs, they act like fuel. They don't mask symptoms. They rebuild the system that creates life itself. One of the most powerful foods you can add to your diet, especially if you're over 60, is leafy greens. Spinach, kale, watercress, and arugula are packed with nitrates, natural compounds that your body transforms into nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is a miracle molecule. It relaxes your arteries, improves blood flow, and helps your heart pump blood efficiently to your legs and feet. When you eat a salad filled with greens, you are literally telling your blood vessels to open up. Within hours, your circulation improves. That's how immediate food's power can be. Now, combine those greens with olive oil, and you get something even more extraordinary. Olive oil contains hydroxytyrosol and oleocanthal, two powerful compounds that reduce inflammation in the blood vessels. That inflammation is what causes stiffness and narrowing. By calming it, olive oil helps restore the flexibility that youth depends on. In places like Crete and Sardinia, where olive oil flows like water and vegetables are the center of every meal, people in their 80s still walk uphill without pain. That's not coincidence, that's nourishment in action. And let's not forget about omega-3s. Fatty fish like salmon, sardines, and trout feed your arteries with the kinds of fats they need to stay supple. They help your blood flow more easily, reduce clotting, and even lower triglycerides that damage your vessels over time. These are the same compounds found in the diets of people who live the longest, not because they're chasing longevity, but because they're eating to stay alive in every sense of the word. But circulation is not only about the big arteries. It's also about the smallest vessels, the microcirculation that reaches the tiniest muscles, the skin, the nerves. When those tiny capillaries close off, your tissues begin to starve. That's when you feel numbness, tingling, or cold feet. The foods that reopen those vessels are often the most vibrant in color: blueberries, blackberries, and red grapes. Their pigments, known as anthocyanins, are not just decoration, they are medicine built into nature. They strengthen vessel walls, reduce leakage, and improve oxygen delivery. When you eat them daily, you're essentially giving your legs a new supply line of life. Garlic, too, plays an incredible role. The sulfur compounds in garlic, like allicin, act as natural vasodilators. They relax the blood vessels, making it easier for blood to flow. People who eat garlic regularly show better blood pressure control and lower risk of peripheral artery disease, one of the leading causes of leg pain and weakness in older adults. The best part is you don't need much. Even one clove a day added to your meals can make a difference over time. And then there's turmeric. Its active compound, curcumin, is one of the most studied anti-inflammatory agents in the world. It helps reduce the inflammation that damages blood vessel walls and impairs flow. Combined with black pepper, which enhances its absorption, turmeric becomes a daily shield for your arteries. Add it to soups, teas, or even warm milk, and you are feeding your blood with protection. The next piece of the puzzle is hydration. Most older adults underestimate the power of water. Dehydration thickens the blood, making it harder to circulate. It strains the heart and makes the legs feel heavier. Simply drinking enough water and eating water, rich foods like cucumbers, oranges, and melons, can change the way your blood moves. Circulation loves hydration. Every cell in your body depends on it to stay alive. But food isn't just about nutrients, it's about energy signals. When you eat a meal filled with processed foods, your body experiences inflammation and oxidative stress. That stress damages mitochondria, the energy factories inside your cells. Without energy, your muscles weaken, your legs tire, and your endurance fades. But when you eat whole foods, rich in antioxidants, vitamins, and healthy fats, those mitochondria thrive. They produce more energy, allowing your muscles to stay alive and active even in your 70s or 80s. That's how vitality is preserved. It's also important to remember that your gut plays a huge role in your circulation. The gut microbiome, made up of trillions of bacteria, influences everything from blood pressure to inflammation. When you eat fiber-rich foods like lentils, beans, and vegetables, you feed the good bacteria that produce short-chain fatty acids. These compounds improve blood vessel function and reduce the buildup of plaque in your arteries. A healthy gut means a healthy bloodstream, and a healthy bloodstream means living legs that can carry you where you want to go. Movement to feed circulation. Walking after meals, stretching in the morning, or even standing up every hour allows your blood to move freely. But movement alone isn't enough without proper nutrition. The food you eat determines whether that blood is thick and sluggish or thin and alive. A single serving of dark chocolate with high cocoa content can improve blood flow within 2 hours. That's how responsive your body is to the signals you give it. One of the most striking things modern science has revealed is that the human body is not built for decay, it's built for renewal. Stem cells, the body's repair cells, remain active even into your 80s. What they respond to is nourishment and circulation. Foods like green tea, soy, mushrooms, and berries activate these stem cells, encouraging them to repair damaged tissues and blood vessels. When you eat this way consistently, your body begins to rebuild itself from the inside out. It's a powerful truth every time you eat. You are either creating disease or creating health. And the change doesn't take years. Within days, the chemistry of your body starts to shift. The blood becomes more oxygenated. The arteries become less stiff. The inflammation markers drop. You begin to feel the vitality that you thought was gone forever. That is how healing begins. Not through force, but through nourishment. Imagine yourself months from now. You wake up and your legs no longer ache when you stand. You walk outside and the stiffness you once felt has melted away. You feel warmth returning to your toes. That's your body remembering how to live. That's the flow of life returning because you chose to eat differently, to live differently. Science has confirmed what ancient wisdom always knew, that food is the most powerful medicine we have. Not because it treats symptoms, but because it changes the terrain of your body. It turns your blood from something sluggish into something alive. It transforms your legs from a place where death starts into a place where life flows freely again. The secret is simple, but profound. Eat what grows, eat what colors the earth, eat what feeds the river of your blood. So, when you sit down to your next meal, remember this: every forkful is either closing your blood vessels or opening them. Every choice is either feeding death or feeding life. The power has never been outside you. It's been on your plate all along. So if there is one truth you carry from this moment forward, let it be this: your body is never too old to fight for life. The spark that built your first heartbeat still lives inside you, waiting for your permission to rise again. Death may try to creep in quietly through your legs, but it has no power when your blood is alive, when your choices feed strength instead of surrender. Every bite of real food, every step you take, every decision to nurture instead of neglect is a declaration that you are not done yet. You are still healing, still growing, still capable of bringing light back into the places that once felt dark. because life doesn't end when the years grow long. It ends when we stop believing that our choices matter. And today, you know they do. So eat to live, move to flow, and feed the body that still wants to carry you forward. Let your legs remind you of this truth: the power to live longer, stronger, and freer begins not in the hands of time, but in the hands that hold your next meal.